Okay. All right, and let's see here. Okay, there we go. We are now streaming live. Sorry for the delay, everybody, but we do have everything set and ready to go. Appreciate everybody joining us this evening. I'm going to go ahead and cut my picture so that you guys get to, out there watching us tonight, see the full screen. And with that, we'll go ahead and get started.
Okay, thank you, Cortland. Welcome, everyone. This is Lucia Cronin. I'm the Council Commissioner. So pleased to have all of you with us for our second council-wide roundtable. We decided to do one of these in July. It was a big success, and we were asked to do more. So here we are with round two, and we will do more of these. So just so everyone knows, this is being recorded, and it'll be available on our Facebook page as an archived video for anyone who might want to jump off or might need to jump off, but might want to share this information with others. They can watch it at a later time. So we have a lot of updates and a lot of information for you tonight, including some new resources. And we are, as everyone knows all too well, functioning in unusual times, unusual circumstances. And we want to do everything we can to make sure that our dens and packs and troops and crews and ships can still meet and have a successful program and have a really great experience for our youth members. So welcome to everyone who's joining. And without anything further, let's go ahead and get into the program. The next, let's see. So the first topic we're going to talk about is recharter review. I think all of you know that our units recharter annually, and we're going to start by talking about that, and also talking about some membership fees. There have been some changes that everyone does need to be aware of. So this summer, the Boy Scouts of America announced an increase in individual membership fees for youth and adults in all our programs, as well as the introduction of a new one-time joining fee for anyone who's new to the Boy Scouts of America. So in addition to those individual increases by the national organization, there was also an increase to the unit charter fee. And then at the end of September, Three Harbors Council announced an increase in its council membership fee to $6. And this $6 fee replaces what used to be called the council insurance recovery fee. All national membership fees are passed through our council to the national council. We don't keep them, they go to the national organization. And membership fees are paid by every member. Scout volunteers like you and me, and even our professional staff support the national operations like liability insurance, program development, handbook development, information technology infrastructure, marketing support to the local councils, among other support that they provide. The council membership fee, that $6 fee that is collected locally, is the only portion of what you and the other members pay that stays here in Three Harbors Council. And it helps to offset the increased insurance costs associated with our program and camp operations. All of these fees will be reflected in the internet rechartering system when you proceed through the online process. They'll be in there. And so Dick Kroll, who is leading our rechartering effort across the council, is going to give you further information about rechartering. Dick? Dick, you're on mute, I think.
There, is this better?
It sure is, thank you.
Thank you, Lucia. Annually, every individual member of the BSA who chooses to renew their membership and every chartering organization which chooses to extend their partnership with the Boy Scouts of America through their local council does this through the rechartering process. Doing this ensures that insurance coverage is maintained and available for scouting activities your members and units participate in. Advancement continues to be processed, and Boys Life and Scout Book access remains uninterrupted. This year, all units will process their recharter online. We are also asking that all units finish processing their recharter and turn in paperwork to either Council Service Center by December 1st. This will allow our staff to process all recharters and fix any errors that may exist before they need to be posted by December 31st. And with this kind of timeline, at this point, all the units should have their recharter information. And if your unit has not logged into the system and started this process, then you need to be doing this real soon. For all of our adult leaders, we also need to make sure that every adult that's registered is current in their youth protection training. Many leaders need to update their training right now. Please check your account at my.scouting.org to see if you need to update your training. And every unit key 3 can also check the status of all their members by logging into my.scouting.org and checking the training tool, which can give you a youth protection training report. In addition to the youth protection training, some adults also need to submit a criminal background check authorization. This will allow the BSA to conduct a background check to ensure the ongoing safety of the youth in our program. If you are a leader that needs to update your youth protection training and/or submit your criminal background recheck authorization, failing to do so at this time may cause a delay in your unit's recharter being processed or may cause your registration as a leader to the BSA to be dropped until these are addressed. Our commissioner staff, field staff, and council leaders are actively following up with leaders that need to complete these tasks. And I would ask for your prompt response and action on these requests. These will help all of us maintain the highest standards of focus on the safety of the youth in our programs. We encourage all units to continue to recruit through the next couple of months. Any individuals that register online will have the ability to pay prorated fees for the balance of this year, as well as next year's membership fees, and the one-time joining fee, if applicable. The online registration system has been modified to integrate these new members into your recharter. If you turn in paper applications while you're processing a recharter or after you've finished processing a recharter, please make sure to include membership fees for the balance of 2020 and for all of 2021 to make sure these new members carry through on your recharter. Recharter is a key function of our membership cycle that requires all of us to stay on time to ensure every member is properly registered and receiving all the benefits of membership in the Boy Scouts of America. Thank you in advance for your help in successfully completing recharter on time. And speaking of recruiting, I'd like to pass the program to Tui Barron, Council Board Chair for Membership, to highlight some of the ongoing membership growth efforts of the Council.
Thank you, Dick. Good evening, everyone. We know this year has been proved to be a very challenging time when it comes to recruiting new Cub Scouts, not only in our council, but across the nation. Despite this, and also to help you continue supporting you, we will add new tools and share new ideas to help our units continue to recruit. One of these new resources is our text to join feature in our Cub Scout packs. We encourage you to have interested scouts text join BSA to 31996. These potential new members will be directed to our bsscout.org website where they can begin the online registration process. Just an easier way to get access to this. Units can continue to add this tagline to their flyers, posters, yard signs, emails. Facebook invites, or any other communication methods in order to advertise this feature. Our next slide. Earlier this year, one of our den leaders conducted a den level recruitment by targeting the communication to the boys and girls in her son's tiger den. She was able to recruit 5 new Cub Scouts for this fall. Den leaders can be successful with this method of recruiting when they can, one, obtain a contact list for the students in their child's grade. Secondly, send an introductory email to the families in that grade, as well as third, to invite the youth and families to an upcoming den meeting or activity. And fourth, to share information about fees, meeting times, commitment levels, and other information. And finally, to help sign up new Cub Scouts and families online or with paper applications. Tools such as this, in terms of other methods of recruitment, as well as videos to share more information about the recruitment process, continues to be on our Council Cub Scout recruitment resource page. And we encourage you to look at that for further information, not only to enhance what is already provided, but any new resource and ideas that are posted there as well. We've seen a significant increase in our bscout.org and online registration this year. In the bscout.org, that's the platform where families who are interested in joining scouting can go find a scouting unit nearby or near them. This platform also allows them to begin the online registration process as well. And more of our units have successfully used the online registration this fall. And we have leads coming in every day from families that are interested in scouting. We encourage you and keep the unit follow up with those leads and encourage the online registration. Resources will be updated for unit information to help you with the follow-up leads, and as we said, process online registration and make that available on the national website. Even though our focus right now is on recruitment towards the beginning of our school period, know that obviously the recruitment is a year-round effort. Anyone can join our programs at any time. We want to encourage and support every unit in their recruitment efforts. As Council Board Chair of Membership, I really want to hear all the ideas and suggestions that you have. What is working well for you? What can you share with us that has been successful for your unit that we can share with the other PACs as well? Are there other things that we can try that you'd like to suggest to see us doing? I encourage you to share the ideas. Cortland Bowles, our Director of Field Service, is collecting them, and I'm working closely with him. In fact, next week we have a small brainstorming session to evaluate the ideas, and we want to continue to share that and continue to support you in your recruitment efforts. I'm going to pass the program on now to Steve Fowler to talk about some of our improvements we've made to our properties to welcome our current and new families. Steve?
Thank you. Fortunately, my screen reminded me that I need to unmute. So even though our properties aren't really being used to a great extent at this point in time, we continue to update them and make them ready for when everybody comes back into our camps, because that'll be an exciting time when it actually happens. I want to thank the Waukesha County Labor Council. They came out and prepped and stained the ship at IMR. It looks really nice. I hope you can see those pictures there. And then we've had a group, they're called the Reliables Group. They're led by Mike Foley and Tim Melendez, and they meet annually, and usually they have a 3 to 4 day work weekend. And this year, unfortunately, because of COVID, they were only able to work a couple of days, but they accomplished a lot, including prepping out the inside of our new maintenance shed down at Odakota so we can safely store equipment and everything that our scouts will be ready to use. Also at Odakota, a few years ago, we had taken the rifle range and set it up in a different way, oriented it differently. We've now set it up so we have storage. We've run Cub Scout shooting events. We can shoot BB guns and .22 rifles. And for the first time, and Wally might jump in at some point in time, but I think it's the first time in more than 15 years, we actually had a rifle shooting merit badge that we held at Camp Odakota, which is pretty exciting. And as I recall, it went so well that we had greater demand than we could fill, and we had a second one, or we're going to plan to have a second one. Safety, as we all know, and privacy is paramount for all of our scouts. And if you look at the cabins that we have at IMR, they're pretty open. We've been working on creating privacy for men and women, boys and young girls. So we've completed that in 3 cabins at this point in time, and Journal, Tier Link, and Stowe. So there's some pictures of what it looks like, but we're able to create separate sleeping quarters within the large spaces that we have available. I know this may not be exciting to a lot of people, but there's a lot of work that a tractor can do in a camp. When you have properties like ours, it's essential to have a piece of equipment that when you get in, it fires up, it works, and it can run all the implements that you want it to run. I know the Ranger and a lot of volunteers are very, very excited, but we acquired, it says a new tractor. It's new to us. It's a used tractor, but it's a deer. And from what I understand, nothing runs like a deer. I hope I get paid for that plug. So if we look at the logo at Camp O-Dakota, it's a teepee. And if you've been in the old teepee, I mean, it kind of looks the same, but it was failing. We actually had an engineering report that suggested that we don't allow anybody to use it, and that we considered immediately taking it to the ground, because if there was a heavy wind, we could have we'll call it a catastrophic type event. So we took the teepee to the ground. We weren't sure what we were going to do, but the Bain Nelson company, led by Larry Nelson, wanted to help out, and they wanted to rebuild the teepee. They wanted to honor his father, who's former council president of Southeast Wisconsin Council. They came in, I don't want to say they re-engineered, but they improved the product base that we're using, put a new roof on. We capped it now, so it's more of a pavilion, so it can be used in all sorts of different weather and stuff. We want to thank Bain Nelson and certainly the family, Bob, for his service to the councils. We dedicated that his honor, family's honor, a couple of weeks ago from that perspective. We continue to look at our properties. We continue to update as we can. We obviously, there's a lot going on with regard to regular maintenance, and we have a lot of really great volunteer crews. If anybody out there has skills and time and they like to volunteer, we have a couple of property committee members that run subcommittees for O-Dakota and IMR. We'd be happy to put you in touch, and we'd certainly love to have your help. And we're certainly looking forward to that day when we get out and really use our properties and our camps again. So thank you for your time. Perry, Wyatt, you get to talk a little bit about upcoming programs. There's nothing more exciting than programming.
Absolutely. Great. Thank you, Steve.
You're welcome.
Good evening, everyone. Just want to say that our volunteers continue to work really hard to provide new and exciting programs for our scouts to participate in. Have continued this throughout the year through varying conditions, but I think with a very high level of success. In the fall, we've offered several merit badge clinics. Many of these were held in person, safely in person, and we're looking at ongoing opportunities to continue to expand our selection for merit badges. It's been a very popular program that we've had and appreciated by the units and scouts. A new program that we're excited about are the upcoming Cub STEM Saturdays. And I'll let Nancy share some of that information on these activities coming up. We're also excited that we've had really good participation in the planning of our upcoming Klondike Derbies. So the Klondike Derby leadership has been meeting together and planning for these programs for winter. Your district Klondike Derby volunteer teams are very committed to providing a safe and quality program. The Klondike Derbies have been a real hit in the past, and we want to make sure that we can do everything we can to continue to bring that experience. So this winter, the experience will be different than we're used to, but we're still looking for ways to make a really exciting program for everyone. Finally, the Silver Beaver Award is the highest recognition a council can bestow upon its volunteer leaders. Nominations for the Silver Beaver Award are due no later than November 13th. Qualifications and nomination forms are available on the council website, and Kathy Anderson will have more information on the Silver Beaver Award a little later. To talk a little bit more about some of these programs, I'm going to pass the program over now to Kathy Anderson to talk about the Merit Badge Clinics, followed by Nancy Lala to share some more about the Cub Scouts STEM Saturdays. Kathy?
Thank you, Perry. We've had several Merit Badge clinics at Camp Otokoto over the next 2 weeks. These clinics will include rifle shooting, farm mechanics, and wilderness survival, sustainability, graphic arts, and astronomy. We are currently scheduling additional clinics in January. I have been asked by several people if it's okay to earn Merit Badge clinics or attend Merit Badge clinics in other councils. The answer to this is absolutely you may. Just keep in mind that when signing up for these Merit Badge sessions, that you're doing them through a council website to ensure that the Merit Badge is completed by an approved Merit Badge counselor. Reach out to me if you should have any further questions. Nancy is going to be up next here with Cub Scout STEM Saturdays.
Thanks, Kathy. I'm so excited that we can start Scout STEM Saturdays through the Scouting at Home program. We are holding a 2-Saturday online program, November 14th and December 5th. So the program will focus on STEM-related adventure requirements and NOVA award requirements. So each Scout who's registering will receive a kit in the mail with the supplies that are needed to work on both projects for both Saturdays. We plan to meet online twice each of those days, morning and afternoon. And please register. Today is the last day for you to register, so last call. That's all. Back to Perry for some final comments on upcoming programs.
Great, thanks Nancy and Kathy. So, as we're sharing this program tonight, we're still putting our finishing touches together on some additional upcoming programs, one of which will be our winter online day camp for Cub Scouts. That will be held between Christmas and New Year's of this year. We're also planning the new Webelos Adventure programs. There will be 2 programs. One will be Project Family and the other will be Into the Woods. We have a date for that now. That'll be November 21st. So you'll see more information for that coming out shortly. So look for those programs in the next coming days and months. They fill up really fast, so sign up early. Now I'll turn it over to Ryan Spelsey.
Thanks, Perry. We're really excited to share with you some resources, especially for you Cub Scout leaders. And these are the Cub Scout Den meeting videos that are available on scouting.org. And again, these presentations, these slides will be shared on our Facebook page, so there's no need to try to copy down that long link. In fact, we put it in there so that when you get this later, you can easily click upon it. But it has a number of resources that we want to call attention to for you. Specifically, there's not just videos about specific rank advancement on there, which we've known about for some time, but there's also some other great things to help you run the best program that you can for your Cubs, including flag ceremonies, simply how to run a den meeting, both online and in person, rank overviews, and it has a really cool element that I found when I was looking at this in preparation for this session, and that is crowdsourced den leader resources. We've done our own version of that on our Facebook page, but this has it from around the country, and there's some really cool ideas on that, and there's more. So I would really encourage you Cub leaders to go and check that out. Another question that we've had recently is, what can we do about the weather's turning colder, right? What can we as leaders do, both on the Scouts BSA side, venturing, and Cub side? What can we do for meetings as it starts to get colder and we need to start moving indoors? But what can we do that's compliant with local COVID-19 guidelines when for some of our units, our usual indoor meeting place is closed? We don't have access to it. And we're quite frankly getting sick of Zoom, as I'm sure many of us are. And the first, and I really want to emphasize this, check the Safe Restart checklist. It's available on our Facebook page. It's available on the council website. It's numerous places. It's a very easy, simple tool to follow, but please check with that. Second, and I really want to emphasize this, the heart and soul of our program, on the Scouts BSA side, it's the patrols. On the Cub side, it's the dens. So while it would be great to have troop meetings, it'd be great to have full pack meetings, if you can't do that, focus on your patrols, focus on your dens. That's where the advancement happens. That's where kids earn things. Second, check with your chartering organization, council, Facebook, and other resources for alternatives. Now, you might think, why would I check with my chartering organization if they just told me, no, you can't meet here? And the reason for that is, for a lot of us, our chartering organization has had to say that to a number of groups. Maybe they have a knitting group, a book club, an Alcoholics Anonymous group, I don't know. But a lot of our chartering organizations, they serve as a home base for a number of institutions, and they might have ideas where, oh, you know, this book club or this hobby group that also used to meet here but can't under COVID is now meeting at this place. So, and also think creatively about parks and pavilions and outdoor places, as well as our local scout camps. We might not be able to meet in our buildings, but if it's warm enough and safe enough, you can have a fire and you can meet outdoors. Now, if you're going to a new place with which you're not familiar, please be sure to do a walkthrough and think about, okay, how are folks going to be able to get in? How are folks going to be able to distance if needed? All of these elements to think through in advance how you might do a unit meeting at that new place. Next, obviously, notify your unit, but think carefully and maybe ask one of your other leaders or somebody else to look at your notification to make sure that it makes sense. I know for myself, I might write something up and I go A, B, C, E, F, G, and I forgot D, because in my mind, it was a logical step and I just skipped right over it. So have somebody else make sure that the directions are explicit, because if it's new to you, it's definitely new to them. And lastly, give it a try, but be flexible. You can always reassess and adjust. And I would encourage all of us and all of our parents to give each other some grace in these challenging times. We're trying to do the best that we can. We're putting on a great program, but be flexible and reassess and adjust as needed. Now, Heather Kozlowski is a den leader in the Southern Shores District, my own district, who's been really innovative at finding ways to meet with her den and her pack. So let's hear from her for a few minutes about some of the things she's done that have proven successful. Heather?
Thanks, Brian. Again, my name is Heather Kozlowski. I am with PAC 251. Been a volunteer at Three Harbors for the last 15 years. And this picture is a group of my tigers. About half my den came out to the Fall Fun Days this last weekend and got to shoot bows and arrows and BB guns and do all the scout crafts and had a great time. And I noticed we were one of the only groups that had a whole den with us. Lots of individual families there, but we had a good group of people. And the way that I get these guys to kind of all come out is I frankly over communicate. I communicate quite a bit and I try to build enthusiasm with my group. So my personal approach is lots of direct communication. So while it's certainly a lot easier to send a group email or a group Facebook post, I do a lot of, hi, Mrs. Smith, wondering if you can join us on Saturday. Oh, and then I'll send it to the next mom. Hey, Mrs. Jones, Mrs. Smith is coming. Can you bring your son too? That would be so much fun, wouldn't it? So I copy and paste lots of text messages to all my den families and build enthusiasm and somehow I get them all there usually. Can I have my next slide, please? So here's another example. So I want to point out that, so our chartering organization, we're following the guidance from our charter organization, which is our school our children go to at St. Matthew's. And we are very lucky to have all our kids in face-to-face classrooms, and they are keeping our kids safe by basically keeping cohorts together. So all my first graders get to spend time together, and that's how we're running our PAC meetings and our den meetings. So my first picture here is a hot dog being wrapped by a Mario. You can see the two little boys there, and that was, we're wrapping mummies. And the reason I'm showing this picture is you'll see those are first graders in that picture, and all the way on the other side, those are, that's a different den. So with our PAC meetings, we are meeting as a PAC in a gymnasium now that it's cold, but we are basically we actually have cones set up where dens get to meet, and our children are being, so only dens are interacting with each other, everyone with masks on, and we're still able That's with guidance from our charter organization, and we feel, and so far we've been successful with it. Our children are all still in school. We're still meeting with DEN meetings and PAC meetings, but that's one approach that we're taking is, so all my little tigers, first graders are together there, and all the way in the back of that picture, you have a different den playing the same game, but completely socially distanced over there. And then I added that other picture there for our flag ceremony, mainly just because it's, well, cute. So because you have all the little kids there in their costumes, and I think it's adorable. I hope you do too. Next slide, please. So again, here's a tiger meeting. We all met outside and we planted bulbs and we're watching them grow. They're all about a foot tall right now, but almost all of my den meetings have been hosted outside. And in that other picture, we also do a lot of family activities. So parents are required to come to my meetings and I break them off in family activities. Commonly right now, that is a little tiger and his mom on a nature scavenger hunt, trying to find things on their list. So yep, we're all sitting at the same table. That's how we've chosen to be safe. Again, only first graders and all wearing masks and outside for den meetings. And again, breaking out as families, doing things as well. So having that combination is what's working for us. Next slide. So here's a couple tips of things I just kind of covered here well, those group communications are certainly easier. I'm all about the direct communication. You can send out an email to a pack of 50 people and ask somebody to bring the milk, and probably nobody will respond. But if you say, hey, Mrs. Smith, would you bring the milk? She'll probably say yes. So asking those direct questions usually gets you a direct answer, and it works for me. You got to be enthusiastic. You got to smile a lot, and you got to bring a lot of energy, and people want to be around happy people. So why wouldn't you want to come to a den meeting? So bring that energy. I share multiple times my invites, and I share using different media. I will email the same invite, I will post it on Facebook, and I will text message it. That might sound obnoxious, but no one has asked me to stop yet. So, so far it is working. Set a date and stick to it. Get a calendar out there, plan some activities, make sure your parents know what's coming up, and continue to promote it. And follow through on promises. If you promise awards at the next meeting, be prepared. If you promise fun snacks or whatever you're going to do, make it happen. And I think probably communication is number one for me, but then be prepared and positive at your meetings. So when your parents show up ready for an activity, look like you know what you're doing. Don't I kind of fake it till I make it. And I don't know everything by any means, but at the same time, I am prepared for my meetings, and I think my parents appreciate that. I'm also not afraid to give people jobs. So if a parent shows up, I always assign tasks to other people. So I definitely don't do it all myself. So just some helpful tips for you den leaders on how to keep your group active and engaged. Thank you. And I think Kathy Anderson is next with advancement.
I have some updates that I would like to share with everybody. The first one is some COVID updates. Because things are always changing, you can get the most current updates from National at www.scouting.org/coronavirus. There haven't been any major changes in the last month, but I suspect as we get closer to the end of the year, there may be some changes coming out. I want to give an update regarding the inaugural female class of Scouts. For potential female Scouts, all boards of review will take place between October 1st of 2020 and January 31st of 2021. All boards of review for this inaugural class will have the same date on the application of February 8th as a celebration to recognize the historic achievement of this class on Scouting's anniversary. That means any girl in this inaugural class of female Scouts will have that date as the date she officially earned her Eagle Scout Award. As Perry mentioned earlier, the Silver Beaver nominations are going to be due November 13th. The Silver Beaver Award is the highest level for a distinguished service. Recipients of this award are registered scouters who have made an impact on lives of youth throughout service. So if you know of a volunteer who has made an impact on the lives of youth, both in scouting and out of scouting, please go to the Three Harbors Council website and click on the Silver Beaver application and nominate them for this award. COVID extensions. This is for scouts that are working on their Eagle requirement, and if they haven't got their project done, the merit badges done, or any of the other requirements done due to COVID, they can apply for this extension. They must be allowed a life scout and nearing that 18th birthday to apply. Applications for extension can be found on the Three Harbors scouting.org website under BSA, Scouts BSA. Prior to turning in the application, these scouts will be required to complete their white youth protection training. Once an extension is approved, scouts will be coded in ScoutNet with a registration code of UP. Merit badge sessions. I just want to touch back a little bit or cover something that we covered earlier. As I mentioned, we have been offering the merit badge courses both in person and virtually. We would like to continue offering merit badge sessions, but we need the help of volunteers. If you're interested in helping do a session, please reach out to either myself or to Wally Smith. My email address can be found on the council webpage under Council Committee. I have a few updates for you regarding Scout Book. In order for scouts to receive credit in advancement, the unit leader needs to approve all entries that are entered into Scout Book. Whether they're entered by a parent or somebody else, the unit leader still needs to approve those advancements in order for the scout to get credit for the advancement. Also, this past month, National BSA uploaded all the merit badge counselors into Scout Book. National does not have a way to code merit badge counselors who only asked to be a unit merit badge counselor. They were entered as a district. If you are a unit merit badge counselor and only want to be a troop merit badge counselor, you will need to sign into your Scout Book account and change it there. But before doing that though, please consider being a merit badge counselor for other scouts in our district or our council. The more counselors we have, the easier it will be for scouts to earn these merit badges. And I promise you, you will not get hit up by a bunch of scouts all at once that want to work on a merit badge. So I want to give you something that's literally hot off the press. I got it at 6 o'clock tonight from the Central Region. It's regarding the new Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Merit Badge. The development team at National has been working feverishly on developing the requirements for the DEI Merit Badge for the past several months. The requirements have been completed and approved. The DEI team has developed notes for the merit badge counselor and is currently working on content for scouts to use as they begin earning the merit badge. January 1st of 2021 is the date that scouts can begin earning the merit badge. And on May 1st of 2021 is when the DEI merit badge becomes an Eagle required merit badge. Please watch for more information as we get closer to the end of the year. Lastly, the Advancement Committee has been tossing around ideas of providing some advancement training. If you have any suggestions on what kind of training you feel needs to be done, please drop me an email and we'll see what we can do. The Advancement Committee is always here to help you and your unit and the scouts earn the advancement that they've worked on. I'm now going to ask Perry to provide us some updates about the current council recommendations for scouting with regards to safely operating with COVID right now. Perry?
Great, thank you, Kathy. All right, so just to talk a little bit about where we've been with the COVID task force. As I mentioned earlier, we are working on the Klondike Derby planning right now and working across the different districts on the Klondike Derby, both with input from the COVID task force, as well as some really great ideas from those chairs, and kind of doing this as a group too, so that we can just share best practices and create the best experience possible. We're encouraging units to continue to follow local rules and regulations for meeting indoors. So we covered some of that in this meeting. It's still possible, but please make sure that you consult your local regulations. And if weather cooperates, outdoor options are always the safest way to go. We like to be outdoors. We're scouting. It's great to be outside and experiencing nature as well, and it's also a safer way for us to conduct our meetings. So all of our camps are available for outdoor meetings and functions, and the units will not be charged. So if you need a place to meet and you're near one of the camps or would like to use the facilities, please contact us for that. One thing that we are consistent with across all of our programs is that we do require all scouts to wear face masks or face coverings and practice social distancing throughout all of their functions. So you see that consistently, and I think that if you are consistent with it, the scouts will follow, and they learn pretty quickly how to adapt into that situation. The task force is going to continue to monitor COVID conditions, obviously. Especially, we've been looking at when we can open buildings and camp facilities. Given the kind of the existing guidance from the state, but also we understand that we need new places to meet indoors, and as the weather changes, we'll want to be inside as soon as we can. But currently, all cabins and dining halls will remain closed at camp, but we will continue to monitor that. Our goal is really to open the facilities as soon as possible. We want to make sure that we can do that in a safe manner for our scouts and the scout volunteers. So I'd encourage you also to check for resources. There's resources on the council website page regarding COVID guidelines and a number of different scenarios, everything from camp to meetings. They're all up there posted for you. And while it's been a challenging year, we know that holding meetings can be difficult, but as Heather walked us through it, it can be done. We can still create great program in a safe way and continue our scouting efforts. So I encourage you all to continue to do that. So earlier in the meeting, Steve walked us through some of the facility improvements that we've had at the camp. We want to make sure that you have full access to those facilities as soon as possible, as I mentioned. But I do want to say that some of those improvements will not be made possible without the financial support that we've had through our Friends of Scouting campaign. So as we prepare for the new year, and the new year is preparing to kick off, John Unger would like to take you through some of our Friends of Scouting. John?
John may not be with us, so I'll cover his points pretty quickly so we can move on with the program. For the first thing that I want to ask everybody is to consider participating in the Continue the Adventure campaign. We recently followed up on our 2020 donors and some of our unworked donors for the 2020 campaign, kind of wrapping up this year and asking for support to make sure that we can continue to operate at the highest possible level to support our scouts and leaders in everything that they do, and in how we can serve each of you in scouting in Southeast Wisconsin. So that's something that I do want to make sure that everybody is watching for, is to continue the adventure campaign. As you know, we've had a lot of challenges this year. When we look at some of the challenges we've had with popcorn and wreaths, camping revenue, this Continue the Adventure campaign will help us out quite a bit. So thank you for your support there. As we look at 2021, you'll see up there, that's a 2020 web page. We're in the process of currently updating all those resources. You'll see those updates coming on in the next few weeks as we craft our campaign for the 2021 calendar year. But we do want to make sure that that our families and our units are starting to plan for family presentations and giving opportunities this year. We know that the more participation we have, the more successful we can be in supporting our programs here in Three Harbors Council. We are looking at various ways of making sure that you can make your pledge and payment online. We are looking at offering a text to give opportunity as well this year, again, to make things a little bit easier. And we're also working at looking at crafting and adjusting how we do some of our presentations within our family presentations at the community level, and utilizing the leadership breakfast in new and different ways. So look forward to hearing from your district executive, from your Friends of Scouting volunteers within your district about different ways and new and innovative ways to help continue participating with your financial support to Three Harbors Council. With that, I'm going to pass the time over to our Scout Executive, Andrew Harden.
Hey, thank you, Cortland. And I want to start by just saying thank you to all of the presenters who've been part of the roundtable this evening, and to all of our Scout leaders who are working hard to deliver Scouting this year in a really challenging environment. It's truly appreciated on behalf of all of our staff here in the council. You guys, our volunteer leaders, we have almost 2,600 volunteer leaders, are our inspiration in what you're doing to make Scouting continue. So thank you. I wanted to provide a brief update, as the slide indicates, on the Boy Scouts of America's Chapter 11 filing progress. Many of you are aware that since September, the BSA launched a noticing campaign through multiple media platforms with the goal of reaching 100 million people. The goal of these messages is to make past abuse victims in Scouting aware of the bar date of November 16th, which is less than 2 weeks away now. The bar date is the term that describes the deadline for victims of abuse in Scouting in the past to file a confidential claim to be eligible for compensation from the victim's trust fund that will be established. That's what you've seen in terms of media outreaches through TV, radio, print, that sort of thing. It's important to remember that Scouting is incredibly safe today. The largest portion of the claims that have been coming forward are from the 1960s and 1970s. So they are literally decades old. Scouting is safe today for our youth members and families because of the youth protection policies that were put in place decades ago through the Boy Scouts of America's Youth Protection Program. We also have strict safe Scouting policies and procedures that we use to make the kids and Scouts in our program are safe. The other thing I want to make sure people know about this process is that local Scouting remains strong. Three Harbors Council is in a good position today and will remain strong for future Scouts. Any donations that are received through Friends of Scouting, which was just talked about, through our popcorn sale or other support, remains here in southeastern Wisconsin to support our local Scouting programs. And all of our local PACs, troops, crews, they will all remain unimpacted by the national BSA news. So just wanted to provide that update as we approach the bar date. There may be some media stories, and wanted to make sure you're aware of what's going on in the Boy Scouts of America's Chapter 11 progress and process. The next slide is something that I really wanted to highlight, and it's a very positive situation. The young man pictured by himself there is Matthew Eyre. He recently achieved the rank of Eagle Scout in Troop 334 in the Red Arrow District. And just as a quick side note, we have had 89 Eagle Scouts in 2020. We're on track, I believe, to be on pace or to beat our number from last year, which was 118. We usually get a lot of Eagle Scouts in the last 2 months of the year. But Matthew, what makes Matthew special is he is the youngest of 5 brothers in the Eyre family, and all 5 of them who are pictured there have all gone on to become Eagle Scouts. He's joined by his brothers Daniel, Robert, Gerald, and Benjamin. And this is truly a rare feat for any one family. I got to say, and I'm quoted in an article in the Kenosha News as saying that it's in my career of 20 years plus, this is the first time I've ever seen 5 Eagle Scouts from one family. But I've since learned here in Milwaukee and Kenosha and Racine of at least 2 other families that also have had 5 Eagle Scouts in the past. but nonetheless, it's a very, very impressive achievement for all of these young men, and we're very, very proud of them. If you haven't seen the article in the Kenosha News, I would encourage you to check it out. It's a wonderful story and really highlights positive things that are going on in scouting today. And I want to give a thanks to Laura Lane, who is part of the Red Arrow District Advancement Committee. Laura is the one who made me aware of this story and actually made the connection with the reporter to get this positive story published in the newspaper. I'd like to also challenge everybody and really invite you to share good news about scouting via social media and through your networks. We have so many stories like this family that we want to make visible to our friends, to our family, to the greater community about why scouting is so impactful to us and so impactful to youth in our community. So please help us share the good news of the scouting between now and the holiday season, which is coming up here. So thank you for this opportunity to address this group. And again, thanks for all of our leaders. I'm going to turn it back over to our Council Commissioner, Lucia Cronin. Lucia.
Thank you very much, Andrew. And thank you to all of you who have joined us for this online roundtable. I think these have been a great success. We hope that you have found this to be useful and good information that will be helpful to you as you carry out your volunteer role. We are always striving to provide useful, helpful information and resources for you. So with that in mind, we have created a new page on the council website for all roundtable resources, and that's pictured here on this slide that Cortland has up for us right now. So glad to see that that's on our council website, and you'll be able to access that and find all of those resources very easily. It's got all of these resources that we've talked about tonight. It has links to national roundtable resources, links to all the events that we have talked about, district roundtable information, and just a wealth of information for you to use. We will be updating this. So as we get new information, new events, new things happening, they will be added to this page on an ongoing basis. And if you have any suggestions for what else could be included in this page or what would be helpful to you, please share that with us. Share it with your district executive or anybody else you come in contact with in scouting who might be able to get it to the right place. So any of the board members or any of the rest of us that you have contact with. So I will just remind you of a couple of other things coming up here for a little bit of fun. We want to invite you to take part in a Scout Leader Trivia Night contest. It's going to be virtual, of course, and it's going to be on December 10th. And for a small entry fee, either as an individual or maybe a team of two, you can compete with other Scout leaders for a little bit of trivia fun while helping to raise some additional funds for the council. I have a feeling there's going to be some stiff competition in this trivia night. Just the people who are some of the speakers here this evening and those involved. I have a feeling we've got a lot of trivia experts. And so that sounds like a fun event. There will be a prize for the winning team, and watch for details about this in the e-newsletter that you'll receive on Friday. You know, we send out those e-newsletters on Fridays, and watch for that one this Friday. That sounds like a lot of fun. I hope you'll be able to join. So again, thank you to all of the speakers this session who have participated and shared information and knowledge with everyone. And thank you for joining us, everyone. We'll see you next time. Good night.